Alright, this is a series of 7 mistakes in content marketing. Each episode I will go deep into each of them and show you how you can avoid making this mistake so you can sell more in your content. So make sure to subscribe to this podcast if you haven't already so you can follow this 7 mistake series and also discover more about content marketing hacks. Okay, so let's dive in. So, here are the biggest questions when it comes to content marketing. Why does the content that gets tons of likes and comments does not make more money than the one with a few likes? And why do some influencers with more than 10,000 followers are still broke while the ones with a few hundreds only make a fortune? And how come the content that is so good still cannot convince people to buy while the simplest one can? Well, today, people are obsessed with the number of followers, likes and comments whenever they put out content. And the truth is, those things are what makes people broke. So how do these successful marketers create content that generates money? Those are the questions, and on this podcast, you'll find the answers. I'm your host, Ashraf, and you're listening to Content Marketing Hacks. Alright, welcome back to the Content Marketing Hacks podcast. I am so glad to have you here. My name is Ashraf. So let's dive in, okay? So your audience. So if you create content, it must be towards your audience. And your audience may encounter a lot of challenges in their journey, right? I mean, there are 4 types of people you should have. And these are the kind of people that, have different kind of journey. And first, there are people who are just starting out. Second, there are people who have never encountered a problem that we are going to solve, right? And third, there are people who are struggling in overcoming the challenges. And lastly, there are people who have overcome it, but the solution they are using is not what they want, okay? So once you know this, you can create content that is very specific to your audience, right? We want to speak directly to them so that they feel understood, so that they will see us as an expert, so that they will pay us, right? Okay. Yeah, they will give us money to solve their problem, right? So every time you create content, you need to know which kind of people that you are speaking to, right? And when you know that, you can describe their journey perfectly. So last month, I launched my first ever Facebook group. Yeah. Okay, that was my first ever Facebook group I ever launched with some people in it, right? I mean, I was so afraid to launch it, but I did it anyway. And even though I did it anyway, I still feel afraid. Once I launch it and I invite some people, and after many people joined the group, I instantly felt anxious. I mean, I literally feel anxious. I feel like I would do a bad job in handling the group. I mean, all these thoughts about bad things suddenly came into my mind. I mean, like, what if I can't deliver? What if I monetize my audience? Will they hate me? What if their training is not valuable enough? What if this? What if that? And even though I didn't do anything yet, it's just launch, right? I just started it, but all these thoughts suddenly came into my mind and saying that I can't do good enough for this, right? And there was a part of me that says, you should not create the group in the first place, Ashraf. You should not do that. Yeah, right. So that's how anxious I was. And there was a lot of fear at that time. And I even messaged my friend Omar Ahmad to get some advice from him. I want him to knock some sense into me, right? So long story short, I managed to overcome it, and now I'm ready to crush it. Okay, and the group is called Elite Podcasters: How to Monetize a Podcast Strategically. And if you are doing a podcast and want to discover how top marketers use podcasts as their sales machine, then join my group. Okay, join it. You can go to bit.ly/elite podcasters. That's bit.ly/elite podcasters. And the link is in the description below. That's my shameless plug right there. Alright, so long story short, after doing the introduction, welcoming them to the group, posting and engaging, and I came to realize that I am creating this group to teach something. I mean, I didn't just do it for fun, or I didn't just do it for networking. I need to create content. I need to create some content. And before I do that, I need to know if this content is relatable to my audience situation, right? So after doing some research on them, I realized that they are all on a different journey. And some of them have never monetized it, some of them have, some of them have tried a lot of stuff, and there is also a guy who has not even launched a podcast yet. Okay, that was funny because I didn't know how did I end up getting them in my group. wait, I did know that he requested to join it and I accepted. I actually didn't know should I accept it or not, but I end up accepting it. But hey, it's just one guy, right? So anyway, back to the stories. So with all of this kind of audience in my group, I can't just create content that speaks to all of them, right? I need to be very, very specific to each one of them. So I went to my Microsoft Word, brainstorming some ideas, and I literally lay out some ideas on how I can create content for each kind of person. And then I finally have content for two kinds of people. One is for someone who has never monetized it, and another one is for someone who is monetizing it but only makes a small amount of money and not consistently, right? So I have two kinds of people that I will be targeting with my content. So once I got this figured out, I realized that they are facing a different kinds of struggle. So I identify what their struggles are, what their goals are, their resources, what they have learned, and all these things, and then I create content for them. So as you can see, there are a lot of things to consider before creating the right content, right? You see how many that is, right? It's a lot of stuff. So you can't just create content out of nowhere. You have to do some research on them. Anyway, I know that I can't create content and teach them monetization because from what I know, these people only know monetizing is all about getting sponsorship, right? Or putting ads. Or I mean it's not wrong, but these people haven't thought the actual way to monetize it properly. I mean, the only thing they know about monetization is that, oh, monetization, you said, okay, let's find some sponsorship. Oh, I need some ads. I need to put some ads. Oh, how long should I create an episode about this ad? Right. Oh, should I put it in the middle of episode? Should I put it at the end of the episode? Should I put this or that? Right. So, that's the only thing that I realized, that I noticed from them. Okay. That's the only thing they know. So, in order to get a sponsor, you need a huge amount of dollars. And also there are other requirements that you have to meet in order for them to sponsor you, right? So in order to change that belief, I need to create content that change their belief first. I can't just go straight into the strategy and tactics because, I need to change that belief first. I need to make them believe that my solution is better than having a sponsorship. So before going into the actual strategies, because, they can't apply what I teach if they still have that kind of belief. So in the next few days, I'll be sharing content specifically to make them believe that the strategies that I'm about to show them is the best one. So in the next few days, I'll just sharing contents about changing belief, right? So if you want to see how I change their belief from getting a sponsorship to my solution, then you can join my group at bit.ly/elite podcasters. Okay, you can check that out, see how I create content to change their belief. Okay, it's going to be fun. So once they believe that my solution is better, then I can do some training. So that's my plan, to put content in my group. And it's not just a random plan. This is what you actually have to do before selling your stuff. And you have to make them believe that your stuff is better. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about belief here. So now that you know that you should be very specific with your audience, but how do you craft the right content for them, right? How do you create the right content to attract them? So firstly, you have to know their goals. Okay, you have to know what do they really want. Okay, so in my case, I want to know what are their goals with their podcast. Why do they create a podcast, right? And I need to find out why they want to achieve that goal. Okay, and secondly, find out what they are struggling with and why haven't they overcome it yet. What's stopping them? Is it a lack of resources? Right. So your content should talk about their problem first, and then you can present a solution. Because if you talk about their solution first, they might not be fully interested. They might just consume it, think it's good, save it, and never apply it, right? And we don't want that. We want them to take action from our content, right? I mean, why else are we creating content if it's not to impact other people's life, right? We want to change their life. We want to improve their life, right? So that's why we create content. Anyway, I have a story. So last year, I was an active member in 2 of the biggest podcast groups on Facebook. These groups have over 30k members, 30,000 members. That's huge, man. That's really huge. And I try to be the most active member in that group. I engage in other people's posts, commenting on their posts, sharing my posts also, right? And every time I post something, and when people engage on my post, I add them to my friends list, or whenever someone reply to my comments, or if they like my comment, if they like my post, I add them too. And also I add people that have engaged on other people's posts in that group. So I add only active members in that group, okay? So over a few months of doing that, I managed to add around 700 podcasters in my friends list. Although I have many podcasters that I can sell to, I still didn't know if they are the right one. I mean, I have to speak to them directly. I have to have conversation with them, build relationships, just to know where they are at in their podcasting journey. And, that sounds exhausting, right? Because it's too much work, right? I don't want to have more work. I mean, I already have a lot of assignments and tests coming up, so I don't want to add more work into my plate, right? And all of this can be shortcut if you already add the right kind of people in the first place. So the problem with my content back then, when I was an active member in the podcast group, was that my content was not created properly. It was not specific enough. I mean, sometimes I talk about launch tips. Sometimes I talk about how to grow a podcast. And, there are only a few times where I talk about monetization, but not that often. So I end up having many people that are into podcasting, but they are not yet into monetization. So that's a bad part, right? Because, you have to create some belief. You have to change the belief first. So it's too much work. So it's a lot more work to change their belief if they are not yet into it, compared to someone who is already been looking for ways to make money from the podcast, right? Or, compared to someone who has been monetizing the podcast, but not making enough. And yeah, that's the kind of people that I should be targeting in the first place, right? So that was my mistake last year. I created content that speaks to many people. So yeah, I shouldn't have done it, but I did it anyway. But that's fine. That was a good mistake, right? So again, if you are trying to create content, make sure you ask this question first. What are their goals? Why do they want to achieve that goal? And second, find out what they are struggling with and why haven't they overcome it, what's stopping them from overcoming it, and what should they already know before investing in your offer. Are they satisfied with their current solution? If not, why, right? And all these kind of questions, you have to ask them to target the right people, okay? Ask these questions and really take note on this, okay? Really take notes and apply it, because this is how you qualify them to be your customer. You have the power to qualify them, and also you have the power to fire them, right? That's powerful, right? And I mean, if they don't meet your requirements, you can just say no to them. And you know what? I have an ebook that shows you the step-by-step process on how to get your perfect client, and also how to craft the right message to get the perfect client. So you can grab that ebook at bit.ly/perfect client ebook. That's bit.ly/perfect client ebook. Alright, if you have learned something new in this episode, let me know and message me on social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. I will respond to you back. Okay, I will respond to you, and I would love to hear your thoughts on rates and reviews on iTunes. Rate how many stars you want to give to this show. And yeah, alright, always remember that do not be a content creator, but be a content marketer, because that's how you make money. If you want to get people to buy your offer, no matter how much it costs, keep listening. The reason why entrepreneurs could not sell their offer is because they target the wrong customer. And even if they get it right, they still don't know how to sell it, right? So I put together an ebook. It shows you a step-by-step process on how to target the right customer, create a sales message to attract them, and get them to buy your stuff. Amazing, right? So if this is something you are looking for, you can grab it at bit.ly/perfect client ebook. Again, that's bit.ly/perfect client ebook. And if you don't know spelling, the link is in the description below. Grab it now.